channel. My name is Sharon, I'm artist from BC, Canada. Today I'm going to go over my 3 biggest mistakes that I made while selling my artwork. Now, this is not the most flattering thing or that I'm fond of sharing with, but I feel like it's time to do some reflection and also share with you, especially for some of you who are new to selling artwork, some of the mistakes I make, and hopefully you won't get into the same issue as I did. So here we go, my top 3 mistakes in terms of selling artwork. My number 1 mistake is to not focus my attention. It's so important to focus your attention on one particular art and craft. Now, being artists and being creative, I'm sure you're into a lot of different mediums and trying lots of different things. But ultimately, this is really great for the exploratory phase when you're trying out different crafts and trying to figure out what you should hone your skills on and hone your time and focus on. But ultimately, once you find your craft, spend the time to perfect that skill, because ultimately that's what your client's looking for. Your client is looking to pay you for that skill that you have mastered and made unique and brand to yourself. So for an example, for myself, I love doing crocheting, knitting, and like polymer clay and like painting, and I did all of those simultaneously when I started. But it wasn't long into my journey that I realized really painting is the thing for me. However, I still like to dabble in those crafts, and once you go into those crafts, you'll want to spend time on it, and ultimately you might become a jack of all trades but a master of none. So that's something that I was thinking back, I shouldn't have spent as much time trying to refine those other skills, rather than I should just focus on that particular medium that I know that I'll be good at and I'll be aiming for my audience. Mistake number 2 is to not undervalue yourself. Now, I think as artists, we have a lot of uncertainty about ourselves. For myself, I started selling my originals, my 11 by 14 inch canvases or bigger for $40 Canadian for a piece. Now, looking back, that's pretty ridiculous, because nowadays I price my items at more than 20 times the price of that, or at least. So try not to undervalue yourself. A lot of times when I first started thinking about pricing my artwork, I was just happy that people were buying my artwork and appreciating it, but I didn't really think about how it's kind of compensate for my time. A lot of times I focus on, oh, that's how much I spent on the paper and the ink and the stuff related to like the material, the physical material that's used, but I don't focus a lot on time and energy that I took to create the idea, time that I took away from other things that I could have done. So I would suggest don't undervalue yourself and try to look around the market and see what's reasonably priced, and be more confident, I guess. So that's my second mistake. I grossly undervalued a lot of the things that I was selling, and I think it has to do with my confidence, but you know, there's no harm in pricing it higher and then lowering down later if you notice that no one's buying it. What I did a lot of times in some of the marketplaces that I was selling at is that, oh, you know what, it's been half an hour, I haven't sold anything, I'm gonna lower all my price for all my items. But even though I've actually already done the research on the market and that's how things are priced, looking back, I should have just kind of waited and given it more time to see how the audience responds. My third mistake is to diversify your platform. Now, this is something that I've heard about with a number of artists and a lot of small businesses, to not put all your eggs in one basket on one particular platform. So for me, I got a lot of instant gratification from Instagram. People like my work and follow my work, so I spent a lot of time focusing on Instagram. And thinking back, I should have really diversified and try other types of platform more and start out early, because your resilience and the time that you put to start on these platforms early on will really pay you many-fold afterwards. So for me, like, I'm just starting out my YouTube channel, my newsletter, TikTok, and all these other platforms. Thinking back, I should have spent more time on starting on these platforms earlier on, and it would really help me grow my audience a lot more. keep in mind that if you are growing your audience on Instagram or YouTube, you don't own these audience, or at least you don't own the contacts related to them. So let's say one day a bot takes over your Instagram or YouTube decide to disable your account, you will lose all contact with your audience. So it's important to diversify your platform and try to get direct contacts to some of your audience so that later on you can contact them related to your artwork, because obviously they have invested interest into your craft already. So those are my 3 biggest mistakes to selling my artwork. Hopefully you find this helpful. If you do like the content on this channel, please consider subscribing and sharing with other artists. It really helps of sharing this channel with passing it on to other artists in our community. Well, that's it for the video. I'll see you in my next vlog. Bye now.